performance so far, and on the fitness front, are there any niggles, are there any worries? Because we saw Mohammed Siraj both holding their ankles.
Where do you want me to start with the niggles? Okay, let me first part of the question. Much better today with the ball. I thought yesterday was probably, it was a tough day for us in the office. We've missed our lines, put us slightly on the back foot, but I thought the way the boys responded this morning, especially Siraj and Booms with the ball, was good to see. And from there, we tried our best with trying to create opportunities. The wicket looked like it played better than the first couple of 2 days. So discipline and holding those lines were key, and that was something I think we missed on day one. And then coming back to the injuries, unfortunately, when we took the second new ball, Booms rolled his ankles going down the stairs, and then Siraj also, I think, rolled his foot in one of the footholes, but they seem to be okay. Yeah.
Morne, today we have noticed that most of the fast bowlers, they have an average speed is comparatively on the lower side to their potential. Like Anshul Kamboj, unfortunately his average speed was lower than Manoj Lavujens. So just wondering, is there any particular reason? Is it a fatigue factor coming in, which has a long series? He had bowled quite a bit of overs. The bowlers have to bowl the ball.
Yeah, look, that's a very good question, and that's something that we definitely also trying to get our heads around. On a surface where it gets a little bit flatter, you need that little bit of energy behind the ball, and I think that's definitely one of the factors for us so far in our bowling innings, is just getting that little bit of extra zip off the wicket to create the opportunities for caught behind an LBW. To look at the workloads of guys like Siraj and those sort of guys, they've had heavy workloads. Anshul, that's his first test match so far, and it's important for us that we wanted to grow and develop a nice fast bowling unit. So not too much to judge on that. I think it is also a heavier sort of outfield, but in terms of commitment and effort that the guys have put in, I don't think we can fault that. But it's just that that's a good point you made. You need that little bit of energy on the ball on good surfaces where the ball at times is not doing as much.
Good morning. I just wanted to understand the thought process behind picking Anshul, just joined a couple of days back. Krishna was been around for 2 months here, and also Shardul being under bowled and Washi coming in so late in the season.
Okay. So the discussion going into the test match was, a bowler that can bowl volume. One of the guys to bowl overs. Somebody that can ask questions. At the stumps, off stump is an accurate sort of bowler. And then I think Anshul in domestic level back home has done that. He's done really well on the India A tour here. And he was a guy whose name has been in the mix for a long time, and they gave him the opportunity for that. Second part of the question.
Shardul being under bowled and Washi coming.
Okay, yeah. So Shardul, it's a bit of a tough one. When you have 4 seamers, when you're going at 5 runs and over, I think as a captain, your mindset is you want to bring strike bowlers back to try and take the wickets for you. And unfortunately, it happened for Shardul in that first test match as well. But not to say that he is the 4th seamer, but he is playing as the 4th seamer. And for me, ideally, a 4th seamer will potentially bowl 15 to between 10 and 15 overs a day. Where you're looking to have the bulk of the bowlers done by your strike bowlers, and I just think at times we were trying to strike more, bringing back the guys we picked to do that job. We went with them.
Washi.
Yeah, Washi. That's also a good question. I think that Shubman was just he made the call in there to stick a little bit longer with the seam options. I think in the first couple of days we saw the ball was moving around and seaming around, and pace on the ball was the way to go. And then when we got the opportunity to bowl, we missed our length. So did we bowl enough good balls to say that to go to spin straight away? I don't think so. And I think when you got the opportunity today with ball in hand, Washi did a great job for us.
My concern might be a strong word, but since the first innings heading Bumrah hasn't got wickets with the new ball, so how do you reconcile it?
But pardon, just
Bumrah hasn't got wickets with the new ball.
yeah.
First new ball, how do you reconcile it?
Yeah, look, I had this conversation with Booms last night, and he's obviously a guy that is highly skillful. He wants to make and create things for us with the ball, but at the end of the day, we need support from the other end as well. And I think that is, a big thing in this sort of bowling innings is that we're struggling to create. We're finding it hard to create pressure from both ends. For him to be successful, we need to bowl in partnerships. The other guys need to help him out. And I think at times, the guys are also trying, from other ends, it's a little bit greedy, trying to strike too much, and we leak, and he sort of released that pressure. But you can't say anything about Booms. He's number one in the world. He's skillful, and at times you're going to get in the wicket column. But I think also, you need help from the other end.
Hi, Morne. Today, Anshul and Shardul combined both 29 overs, right? Bumrah alone bowled 28. What is and when you talk about workload, how much of an impact does it have? Because if somebody like him, taking the maximum pressure and then, the others not contributing as much as they should be. And also, how do you motivate a player like Kamboj, who's making his debut here and doesn't have the best of beginnings? And being a bowling coach, how important is it to ensure that the young guy doesn't, have the mental pressure going forward?
Yeah, coming with Booms, obviously the ideal thing for him is ideal way we see it is to give him shorter bursts, short spells. He is the strike bowler, like we said. But also, there will be moments that you need to push a guy a little bit harder and longer to get the breakthrough. England, they've got a powerful batting lineup. As a batter, your initial first 20 balls is very crucial, and in terms of a guy who's accurate asking those questions, he's Bumrah. So he's going to be asked a lot of times to come and do the job for us. I think as the spearhead of the attack, that's also a responsibility that he's not shying away from. He wants that to make the impact, so that's good. Like I said, also at times today we lacked that little bit of energy on the ball, and that was maybe for the reasons where we wanted to push Siraj and Booms a little bit more, because they had a little bit more quicker airspeed and off the wicket a little bit to try and create those opportunities. And then with Anshul, that's international cricket. Unfortunately, it's there's no place to hide, and we support him as best as we can, conversations, but it's also for him it's good learning, and I think everybody in the dressing room is constantly telling him to keep going and supporting him, and that is part of his journey now. International cricket is to get a taste for it and know moving forward what he needs to do to play at this level. So it's through good conversations and just keep on supporting him.
Coach, Coach, there has been a lot of talk about Kuldeep Yadav not playing in this series. In this particular game on day one, every commentator was talking about how dry the pitch is. And given the record of his spinners at Old Trafford, what has been the conversation around Kuldeep Yadav throughout the series? Why he's not? Is it just due to the batting that the team is wanting, or just abandoning that, going after 20 wickets pretty much quicker than what we are doing?
Yeah, I think you answered the question well there. I think it's finding when he comes in, how can we find balance, and how can we get that batting line up to be a little bit longer and stronger. We've seen in the past that we've lost wickets in clumses, and Kuldeep is world class and he's bowling really well at the moment. So we're trying our best to find ways for him to get in, but unfortunately with that, just the balance with batting, it throws it out a little bit.
Morne, will you talk about those things, about the various selection things, or whether you have enough runs, which quick bowlers have come in, and the finer points that you talk about energy on the ball?
Yeah.
About how much also is this, 5-test series like this really test the depth of your fast bowling options, and is that an ongoing issue or a particular issue right now?
It's a real test. We play 2 test match series a lot, and this is now first time in a while we've gone into 5. It shouldn't be excused, but in terms of conditioning, getting the guys conditioned and get them ready for 5 test match series coming straight out of the IPL, is sometimes an issue, because you have to balance between test matches, getting these guys, a good amount of recovery time, but also to keep their bowling loads up. And that's why it's important for us to look at the future and get a good core of 5-6 bowlers that we can rotate, and then these guys can come in and they can do the job. At the moment, there's not a lot of experience with the ball. We've got Siraj, we've got Booms that played a handful of tests, and then Akash has played a little bit, but he's out injured. So we keep on finding ways to bring new guys in that's learning now their cricket here, international cricket. They're learning their trade in international cricket. So it is not easy at the moment, but this is just a phase, a period that we need now to work through and get these guys fitter and stronger, to last for 5 test matches. Yeah.
Hi, Morne. I just wanted to get your thoughts on how you go to think about sequencing these 4 bowlers that you have, right? Like you just spoke about how Siraj and Bumrah, the experienced bowlers. So do you want them bowling together with the new ball, starting together, or would you rather have their experience split across spells so that you have one experienced bowler going in different phases of the game? So how do you guys think about it in terms of, say, yesterday Bumrah and Anshul started, and today you had Bumrah and Siraj start. So what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it all depends on the situation, on the conditions. Anshul, he's done well with a new ball. He's a new ball bowler. He's that guy that we said going into the test match was going to be the bowler that asks questions, consistently on that off stump, full stump line. And Siraj has done really well, with bowling first change. We also, from the past experience, know sometimes that after 10, 11 overs, the ball can do slightly more. That helps Siraj as well, bowling first change. And also, the way that England play, if they attack Booms and Siraj up front, then we have to go to less experienced guys at first change. So that it is a bit of a tricky one. But looking back at yesterday, you back a guy that's picked for on his strength, and the strength was Anshul bowling with a new ball, with the one best bowler in the world. So that was the thought process, and Siraj has been doing a fantastic job bowling first change. It was just yesterday our execution let us down. So yeah, I think it's not so much to blame on the combinations we went with. It's more the fact that we let ourselves down with our execution. I mean, I haven't seen a pitch map where we basically leaked runs. I think 100 runs on both sides. It's normally like a bit of a split. And for me, yesterday was either sign we were too greedy, but we couldn't stick to the plan. And then from there, found ourselves chasing the game a little bit.
Coach, since the first game in Leeds where the 2 batting collapses did cost us the game, there has been a remedial measure that you have packed batting and added more depth to batting. But one area left unconcerned is the fact that we didn't pick wickets when it was required on that 5th day. So is it sort of a defensive approach going into the next 3 games? And do you think it's a tad unfair on someone like Kuldeep, whose job is there to pick wickets and not really to score those 40-50 runs which the management expects him to do? So how do you find that balance, and how do you keep that player who has been left in the lurch for 4 games now? His job is to pick wickets, he's the best in the
Yeah, good question. I do think at the end of the day you need runs on the board, and for us, obviously giving that little bit of extra batting protection, wanting to get totals 400 plus, you need that against England, especially the way they play, their brand of cricket. But to be honest, the wicket so far has been dry and it's actually spun a little bit, so that brings Washington into the game. It brings Jadu into the game. So like I said, Kuldeep, we're trying to find a way for him, but it is just more that consistent runs from our top 6 that we want, so we can bring a guy like Kuldeep in.
If you look at that phenomenal success against India, 9 century in England and 12 overall. So as a bowling coach, how hard is it to devise a plan for batsmen to have such success consistently against one particular country? And if plan A doesn't work, when you switch to plan B and plan C?
Yeah, I mean, he's on about Joe. Yeah. Joe Root, yeah. I mean, he's obviously one of the fantastic player, relentless. Not a lot of there's not a lot of sort of weaknesses in his game. That's why he's, scored 13,000 plus runs. But yeah, I think the main thing is, at the time, if you can't execute well, it looks like there's no plan at all. And I think that's where at times where we've lacked ourselves. It's just on execution. We leak runs. And then, we all of a sudden going at 5s, and how do you pull the game back a little bit, and also to still have that aggressive mindset. And that's will come from individuals working out. Okay, we're going at 5s. How can we get the run rate to 3.5? It's a patient line. It's bowling in partnerships, and that is some of the plans. But can we execute that for a longer period of time? At the moment, if I'm brutally honest, in this bowling innings, no. We were fantastic in the last 2 test matches, but we had a bad day yesterday. We were on the back foot. We had all the plans, but at the end of the day, you can have a plan, but it is executing those plans for a longer period of time. Otherwise, it's a fast-scoring ground, and the brand of cricket England is playing, you're going to always try and you're going to catch up in the game.
Morne, I don't want to be uncharitable to the debutant.
Yeah.
But there's no other way to put it. His average pace has been 125 kilometers an hour. It also looks bad on the decision makers, and I'm sure he came highly recommended, and you also must have seen him in the India games. You must have seen a completely different bowler.
Yeah.
To give him a debut and to back him to take the new ball. So what is the reason that he's not been able to bowl a decent pace? Is it just the stage fright, or is he not fully fit, or what is it?
He's definitely fully fit. If he wasn't fully fit, he won't be playing. I mean that's a fantastic question. If you look, I wish I can give you that answer because I would have told him then how to bowl quicker. But he arrived here, he bowled well in the nets, and then obviously we went with what I discussed earlier. Why speeds are so low? I mean, that is something that we're working on.
Well, he was definitely quicker when you saw him in the India A game.
India A game, he was definitely quicker, and some of the games back home, it was definitely higher pace.
While we can ask him.
Yeah.
You have been talking about batting depth.
Yeah.
There has been the continuous theme from starting from Australia, and you want batting depth because you don't want extra load on the young batting lineup.
Yeah.
But do you also give a thought to playing 4 wicket taking bowlers who will actually reduce the number of runs that you need to score and look at it that way?
No, for sure. There's always the option of going with quicks and picking your 6 best batters. All those discussions we have, or we do discuss. But I think so far in this test match, the last 2 test matches, the guys who have played, have done a good job in terms of spin bowling. We were ever so close to win that test match at Lords. We had a great test match at Headingley, at Edgbaston. So I think so far we've played good cricket, bar yesterday. Yesterday's bowling performance.
Yes, that's a shot. क्रिकेट की हर बड़ी खबर, lovely shot, हर बड़े अपडेट और लाइव डिस्कशन के लिए जुड़िए मेरे साथ सिर्फ इंडिया टीवी क्रिकेट यूट्यूब चैनल पर।